Well, I'm super honored as well to be able to share this virtual stage with someone like Ricardo. So I hope this will be a super fascinating session to give you an overview of super exciting and super promising developments in non-invasive neurotechnology. And the non-invasive, I think, is a very important part to highlight, because typically we think of neurotechnology as all these super expensive, super invasive stuff, like Elon Musk, someone's going to introduce a chip in our brains. But frankly, where there is more promise right now about ways to enhance our brain health, our mental health, is in the non-invasive side. And then first, I will give you an overview of interesting market trends, and then Ricardo will add his own amazing perspective as a researcher and someone actually developing some of these new tools. So let me start by doing a very simple exercise, also for you to start using the chat function. So what do you see in this image? Please write in the chat whatever it is that you are seeing. And there's two ways to see this. You can either see animals, if you are paying attention to the white space, or you can see a lot of humans, a lot of faces, if you are paying attention to the dark areas. And the point in this exercise is that reality is there. We can pay attention to either side of the coin, either side of the image. So again, we typically think of brain health and neurotech as this kind of medical, super research kind of category. And what I want to do today is to say the other side. It is, well, in fact, this is becoming more a consumer category and an industrial category, where a lot of sensors, a lot of wearables, a lot of just apps and computing devices and algorithms are being embedded into every single technology around us, outside of the research, outside of hospitals. And this is very important because right now we're going through a worldwide crisis. We can hope that the new normal after this will be even better than the old normal. But given both the physical and the mental health challenges we have, we better truly start using these toolkits as cleverly as possible. So with these many different things going on, there's many apps, there's many devices. Again, there's a huge explosion of innovation. We can discuss later in the Q&A if you are interested in any of them. But the field and the market is exploding, which is why a few years ago, we started to conduct market research and market analysis, and we've published a number of reports. We also run a number of virtual summits so we can gather what is going on all around the globe in this area. And what I'm going to do is to highlight a few points that I think often are overlooked. These are the 4 areas where we see more growth. So they are all non-invasive, but they are different technologies. The first one is more based on brain waves and EEG devices, and there's a whole category there, including, for example, in cars. Some car manufacturers are developing sensors to detect if a person is driving drunk or about to fall asleep. And then the question is, well, what will the car do in that context? That's one category. Number 2 is neuromonitoring. So it's how any technology around us, could be a computer, could be a wearable, could be a watch, could be anything else, is measuring our mental state and our cognitive state and then reacting to that in real time. Then we have a number of training platforms to try to understand maybe what our cognitive or emotional bottlenecks are and how to enhance and improve those. And then transcranial stimulation, which started as a very promising clinical application, and then sometimes now is being used and misused in a consumer context, but we see an explosion of things there as well. This results in very significant revenue growth. So this is just, again, we have a lot of data, but by 2020, so by the end of this year, we predict the global revenues for these 4 categories I showed you earlier will be over $6 billion, mostly driven by consumers buying things for themselves or their families. And that's a very important insight. Again, this used to be a clinical category, is now becoming an industrial and consumer category. And we expect that growth to continue for the next 5-10 years because of this, what I'm showing you on the right of the screen, which is patent trends. So a few years ago, we started to analyze patents to see what are underlying trends, things that have not been commercialized yet, but big companies are patenting the solution, so we know what is going to come to market in the next 2-3 years. And in red, you can see the baseline of all the IT, all the tech patents being patented in the US Patent Office. And in blue, you see just the patents for non-invasive neurotechnology. And you can see the huge spike of patents since 2010, which again is a very solid indicator of what is happening and about to happen. So this is a very growing and promising category. And this comes from one survey we ran, and there's one key insight. I mean, there's a lot of data, but I just want to share one insight from this survey, which is, why are consumers so interested in buying this and using all these things, even if maybe some of them have not enough evidence, we don't know how to use them, there's a lot of controversies? Well, when we ask people, do you agree or disagree with different statements? The first one, the one I want to highlight here, is my healthcare provider offers excellent brain health care. So only 2% of people say strongly agreed with that. Only 8% agreed with that. So combined, only 10% of people think that the healthcare provider is offering excellent brain health care. Therefore, that's why consumers are doing anything they can to take more charge of their own brain health or their families. So either healthcare providers will truly step up what they are offering, and some are, or consumers are going to take this category in their own hands, which is what is happening. So the opportunity and the challenge is big. And just to step back for a second, I think I like to explain the opportunity this way. So if we think of how, on average, brain performance evolves as we get older, again, on average, that's what happens. So that black trajectory, so many things tend to improve until we are in our 30s, and then slowly, gradually decline. Some things keep improving, but again, this is an average simplification. But that's reality. So 100 years ago, when life expectancy was maybe 50 or 60, that wasn't a big problem. But now it is, because we have to think about, well, how do we stay productive, active, in control, contributing to society until my 70s, 80s, 90s. The good news is that with existing science and existing tools, we already know that we can help people move from that black trajectory to a higher, what I saw in yellow. And that has two big benefits. One, we can help people improve performance at whatever stage of life they are in. If we're talking children, they can learn better, faster, be more resilient. If we're talking professionals, young professionals, well, also cope with the stress, learn faster, improve working memory, so they can make more complex decisions and deal with more complex topics. If we are talking older adults, to stay active, to stay independent, to stay happy. So we already know we can move up that trajectory, which has huge implications and huge promise. Now, when we ask people in a different survey, well, so you're reading the media about brain health and neuroplasticity and the cognitive reserve. What do you think is the main problem? Why not enough people take action or know how to take action? And people answer in two big problems. One was public awareness. Many people still think somehow the brain is still, everything about brain health and mental health is genetic. They don't realize the importance of lifestyle and our behaviors and our thoughts and our feelings. So that's number one. Number two is how to navigate claims. So we detected many people told us, no, I already believe there's an opportunity to improve my brain, my mental health, but I don't know where to start and how to navigate all these claims. Different products promise different things, but how do I know which one is right for me? How do I know which one works, which one doesn't work? And that's, I think, where the market is right now. Sorry, someone is calling me. That's where the market is right now, which is why we started doing a lot of public education and publishing books a few years ago. But let me give you an example. So imagine you put all your beautiful Chinese ceramic, how do you say ceramic, in a washing machine, and then you run it. Well, that would be a disaster, right? But that doesn't mean the washing machine doesn't work. It means you didn't use the washing machine the proper way. And this is what's happening right now, that some consumers still are not, or even professionals, they're being overwhelmed by the choices available and not using the right tool for what they want. And that's why I think we pay a lot of attention to assessments. And monitoring tools are going to be very important to help both consumers and professionals detect what every person needs and then find the right tool, the right program, the right app, the right wearable that can truly help them solve that need. We have published books, as I mentioned. There is many ways to help consumers and professionals know how to navigate all the different options. Anyone interested, I encourage you to take a look at the book. It's in multiple languages, also in Spanish and Portuguese, and I guess we have many people speaking those languages. So just to summarize the landscape, I would say that the good news is that there is hundreds or even thousands of pioneers, scientists, technologists like Ricardo, and we're going to hear from him right now, developing new tools that can help us flourish and improve our brain functioning, our brain health and mental health, to stay happier, more independent, and to delay problems. And then we also have millions of consumers and professionals trying to understand how to best use all these tools and all these exciting and sometimes pretty complex to navigate toolkits.